Priam da pawb, croeso I cyfarfod heddi. Welcome to the Scrutiny Committee. Item 1, any apologies for absence?
Claire.
Claire Little. Any other apologies? That's the only one we've had. Item 2, declaration of interest. Members are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal or prejudiced interest in respect of matters contained in the agenda in accordance with the provisions of the Local Government and Finance Act 1992 relating to council tax, the Local Government Act 2000, the Council's Constitution and the Members' Code of Conduct. And under that you'll also see note A. Members are reminded they must identify the item number, subject matter that their interest relates to and signify the nature of their personal interest. And B, where members withdraw from a meeting as a consequence of the disclosure of a prejudicial interest, they must notify the chair when they leave. Nobody's indicated they've got any declarations of interest. The next item on the agenda is the minutes of this Scrutiny Committee on Tuesday, the 21st of October, pages 5 to 8. I'll go through it page by page in case anyone has any matter that they want corrected. Page 5. Page 6. On page 6, this is minute number 22, and it's the fourth dot down, and I'll read it. It says here, the bulk sits under education and leisure would sit outside of statutory assets. I'm suggesting it's just a minor alteration that it should read, bulk sits under education, full stop. And then capital L, leisure would sit outside of statutory assets. That answer was given in reply to a question from Councillor Barry, where he asked, I think we had a figure given to us of over 200 buildings, and that's the answer. The bulk sits under education. Next page 7, under the heading regeneration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th dot down, if you're still with me, it reads, Georgetown Plateau is under consideration with initial site investigations being positive. I think we should add on to there, new short sentence, no, sorry, comma, for older persons support accommodation. If you put that in, that explains what the site investigations are for. Okay, so it's to add after the word positive, for older persons support accommodation. You all happy with those two alterations? Yes? On page 8. So subject to those alterations, are you all happy with the minutes as they are accurate as amended?
Can I move the minutes, Chair?
Thank you.
Chair.
Second. All in favour, please show. Okay, thank you, that's carried. Then we go on to item 4, and that's the action logs, pages 9 to 14. Do you want to add something to it, Ian? Page 11?
All I'd like to add, Chair, is that we're pretty much up to date on the actions. There are some sort of longer term actions. I have received some follow-up queries on some of the responses, which I'll look to update the scrutiny members on as soon as I can.
Right. Any questions? Yes. Who's asking the question?
Sarah.
Oh, Sarah, sorry, that was you.
Yeah, can I just update the committee chair just in terms of one of the actions on page 12, in terms of the quarterly combined performance report. Obviously, scrutiny had asked for that to come to scrutiny before Cabinet and or Council. So just to confirm that we've put in a, members will be aware, we put in a joint scrutiny and governance and audit combined meeting on the 1st of December to consider the quarterly report before it goes to Cabinet and or Council. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Nothing else? Any questions on that? No? No questions? Okay, we now on to item 5. That's the corporate self-assessment report, which is quite lengthy. It's pages 15 to 154. Reporter author is Andrew Mogford. Unfortunately, he's on leave, I think, at the moment. Sarah, would you be taking the lead with this one?
Chair, I'll present if that's okay.
Okay. Yes, certainly, Councillor Salmon.
Right, thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
I'm presenting the corporate self-assessment report today, which has been compiled by Andrew Mogford and gives an overview on how the local authority deems it has met its performance goals for 2024-2025. Members of this committee have been asked to review the report, provide constructive feedback, and where they feel it's needed, to suggest improvements. It's acknowledged in the report that we have limited resources and that we do face challenges, but through collaboration with members, staff and stakeholders, we hope to become a better organisation. As the Chair already mentioned, this is a very lengthy document. Appendix 1 makes a very brief point on our financial challenges, lists some of the key decisions made during the year, and a quick overview of some of our engagement and consultation exercises. It then goes into a lot of detail on how our wellbeing objectives, before giving an outline on what we as a council are also looking at, namely asset management, corporate planning, financial planning, performance management, procurement, risk management and workforce planning. Appendix 2 then lists a large number of case studies of positive outcomes, and Appendix 3 shows our progress against our wellbeing objectives. I believe there are a number of officers present today who will be able to answer any questions in depth. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Salmon. If nobody else wants to add on to that, I'll go on to the report. And frankly, the only way to deal with this report is to deal with it page by page, rather than somebody ask a question on page 150 and we're moving back and forth. So we will get through it properly, but that's the way I intend to deal with it. So I'll deal with the overarching report first of all, which includes the summary, the purpose of the report. That's the introduction, that's page 15. Just indicate if you've got a question. Page 16, page 17. There is a correction of a word there under paragraph 6.3, and it's the second sentence which reads, what it's got down here is the programme includes a work stream. That I would suggest you should read work stream. Okay. Any questions on that? No. Page 18. page 90. Then we go to the self-assessment, corporate self-assessment report for the period 24 to 25. Page 21, 22, 23, 24. Page 25. I've got a query on there. You'll see there's some interesting percentages on that. It's the one under the health column. And if you look down there, it's obviously from the census in 2021, asking people how they regarded their state of health. So it goes from very good right down to very bad. So where it says bad, that's 10%, 4,112 people, and very bad, that's 1,386. Maybe nobody's got the answer to this one, but I'm very curious. Out of that, put those two figures together, and that's about about 5,500 of the population. I just wonder whether the majority of those individuals are people of pensionable age. Because the figures I've seen in the past are, as you certainly in Merthyr Tydfil, the older you are, the poorer is their health state. But if you haven't got the answer to the question now, doesn't matter. But I'd like to know what the answer would be. I just presumed that the majority of that 5,500 are people of pensionable age above. Councillor Richards.
Thank you, Chair. It's in the same area that you've just asked the question on, really, and I don't know if the answer is available today, but can be provided. But I thought these figures seem to underestimate the level of ill health in Merthyr. Perhaps I'm wrong, but you see statistics coming forward from other quarters showing, for example, economic activity, I know which isn't always because of ill health, but is quite high and one of the highest in the UK.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the answer is available today, but if it can be provided at some point.
Yeah. So could we have an assurance that on those 2 points, mine and Councillor Richards, that answer is given and sent to all members of the SWIT committee?
Yeah, I've noted that down.
Okay.
Chair. Yeah.
Okay, Neil. No other questions?
Chair, I think Ellis has got his hand up.
Oh, sorry, Ellis. Yes.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chair. Sorry, yeah, so both questions. We'd have to look, we'd go away and just double check the data sets. Obviously, how that data set in terms of that report, there was the census data. Sorry, how the census data was correlated in terms of ill health against the population strata. We'll have to look, but both those points, I'm happy to pick up with officers outside and we'll get an answer back to you, not a problem.
Yeah. My only thoughts when it looks on the rather lower side than I anticipated in some ways, although it's 10% roughly, bad or very bad. I thought it would have been higher than that on what you hear from other quarters then, really.
Well, Merthyr, from a health inequalities perspective, has its issues, so we'll double check that data. But obviously, that's the interpretation of that census data. But obviously, there's lots of other data sets which would sort of allude to that issue as well, Councillor. Yeah. So let's come back to you with a cogent answer to those questions.
Yeah, and the figures would be 4.5 years out of date anyway. We'd be looking at this as a 24-25 report. Okay, page 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Any questions on 38? No? 39. I've got a question on page 39. And it's to do with percentages. In the middle top of that page, it refers to those not in education, employment, or training, the NEETs as we call them. And that figure has gone up from 1.5% to 2.7%, which obviously is an increase. Now, just to be sure, when you put percentages, I'm one of those who always likes to know what the actual figure is. I think somewhere else in the report, a bit further on, it refers to the figure 19. So I just wanted someone, if you haven't got the answer now, as long as we can be given it. So in percentage terms, what is the actual number? And what was the number in relation to 1.5%? And what is it now in 2.7%? So whatever the figures are, the figures have gone up. And if no one's got the answer at this moment, I'd like it provided to
Sarah got it.
or Sarah.
Yeah, so the 1.5% was 9 young people, Chair. The 2.7% was 14 young people.
Right. So that's clearly, when you get the figures, because I got no idea what percentages were. Thank you. Did somebody else say something, or Gareth?
Yeah. Chair, it's on the same page as you were on, really. It's regarding the school inspections.
Yes.
Obviously, shown a dramatic improvement there from 25% to 100%. But again, we don't know numbers of schools involved over the 2 periods.
Yeah. Yes. Good question. Is anybody on here from education that can give us that answer? Anthony.
Hiya, Chair. Yeah, I'm here
Hello,
instead of
Anthony.
Sue today. Hiya. In terms of the 100% figure, that's based on 5 schools.
Yep.
5 school inspections in the last year. In terms of the prior year comparator figure, I'll have to go back and check what number that's based on for the prior year comparator figure. I haven't got that information to hand, sorry.
Okay, well, you're on, Anthony. Were most of those primary schools? Was there a secondary school included in the 5?
In the 5, bear with me. There was the middle school, the 3 to 16 school was included.
Right.
The rest, I think it was 3 primary and 1 special for the others.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And perhaps if you can give us the figure, you don't have to do it now. What were the previous year?
Yeah, I'll have to double check and we'll have to get back to you tomorrow on that figure.
Yeah, that's fine. Councillor Richards?
Thank you, Chair. It's to do with that, but not. It's the general. This is a general question, but that section is an example. We are comparing. This report is for 24-25, isn't it?
Yes.
But we're adding into this report statistics. It looks like for 25, 26. Have I got that wrong, or is that the case?
Who can answer that question?
No, sorry, I may have read it wrong. Or perhaps I misunderstood what Anthony said. The 100% was 24-25, and the 25%, Anthony, was 23-24, was it?
Yeah, so the 100% was for the last completed
Yeah.
year, so it was 24-25.
Yeah.
25% is reported here as the prior year figure.
Yeah.
I do actually have a different prior year figure of 87%, 86%. So I think the 25% figure looks like it's from summer 23. So I think we're going to need to double check the prior year comparators that are shown within the education figures.
Yeah.
But the figures reported are for 24-25 current year. I think it's the prior year figures we need to double check.
Yes, if you can do that, Anthony, and let all the committee know, we would be grateful.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay,
No problem.
thanks. Any other questions on that particular page? No? We'll be by page 40. Page 41. 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Any questions on that page? Right, I've got one. It refers here on your left-hand side, top of the page, 109 children looked after for 24-25. That's 23 less than the previous year. So that's an interesting factor. It's going the right way. It's reduced. What I don't deduct from that is how we reduced it and what is the plan. I presume we've got a plan to try and reduce that figure from here on in. It's reduced there. I know it sometimes can be volatile, but I understand that lots of work has been done in the background in social services to reduce the number of children looked after. Yes, Lisa.
Yeah, so you're right, Councillor Jones. We've had a really successful piece of work around reducing the numbers of children looked after. As you'll be aware, I mean, that figures fluctuated between over 200 at one point and, lower than that in the past. So lots of it is we've had a lot of young people who've reached 18, so they've moved into the care leaving service. So they haven't come, new people haven't replaced them, if you like, in the numbers. But also we've had a successful drive on special guardianship orders where children looked after were placed with relatives. They've taken out special guardianship orders, which we've made an offer, and we're continuing to support those people. So you'll see those statistics grow over the next year or so, because those numbers will get higher, but they're no longer looked after. So it's all been done safely. We've worked really closely with legal about reducing and discharging those care orders. So people our children have been placed at home for periods of time. Then we've gone back into court to remove the care orders because they've lived there successfully for a number of years. So it's all part of a plan, and touch wood, it's all going in the right direction.
Yes, thank you. And would some of those children looked after possibly be outside the county?
Unfortunately, a high proportion of those young people are not placed in Merthyr. But as you'll be aware from the Welsh Government initiative for not-for-profit, we have opened our own residential. So we are looking to bring some of those young people back into county. and we are looking to recruit local foster carers. But unfortunately, because of our size, sometimes, you know, we've got people who are based perhaps just over the border in Caerphilly or RCT, or we've used independent placements, but they have maybe still coming to school across the border in Merthyr.
Yeah, and before I bring in Councillor Richards, there's always a caveat, isn't there? Because you're doing excellent work there to address the figures and try to reduce them. But the caveat is, with all the good work being undertaken, next week you could have a family moving in here you're not aware of, with 2, 3, 4, 5 children, and that will affect the number. That's the case, isn't it?
Yeah, so as you'll be aware, in the last couple of years, certainly sort of probably about 4 or 5 years ago, we had 2 families move into the area, which equated to, I think it was 15 children, the 2 families, who all ended up looked after, and obviously impacted our figures overnight. So that could happen. Let's hope it doesn't. But yeah, so our priority is to safeguard the children, so that would always be our priority, not the figures.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Richards.
Thank you, Chair. Lisa, just the lead on really from the Chair's question around the number of looked after children. The 169 is as at the 31st of March we're talking about, is it?
Yeah, so that would have been the figure at the 31st of March 2025.
Yeah, that's okay. But obviously, as you said, it could have gone up quite higher than that in between.
I will say it hasn't. It's actually gone down further. So
Good.
yeah.
No, I don't mean since, sorry. I meant within the year that we cover in 24-25. But we just recorded the number at the end of the year we are, aren't we?
So on the 1st of January, it could have been 200, but that period of time. But I think it's been sort of pretty level for about 18 months.
Yeah. And before, Chair, if you bear with me on this, we have to make a compliment on the number of assessments completed, which does look very high on both. Previously, a slight drop on this year, but obviously quite a high percentage overall. I took a liberty there, Chair, sorry, raising a comment rather than a question. I appreciate that. The other end is the total number of adult contacts, Lisa. I'm not altogether sure what we are talking about there. For clarity, could you explain what you're talking about, or what the office, the report is talking about? Still on page 48, sorry, the total number of adult contacts.
Okay, so I believe, and I did ask Alex and Jude this one because I thought that might be a question. It was a new KPI going back 23-24, so there's not a lot to measure on because there's only 2 years data. But it's about those people who are asking for advice and assistance. Whereas in the past we've only recorded whether it's a contact and then it goes on for assessment. These are the ones who just ring us up and perhaps we give them direction to go to another organisation.
Right,
so it's that the IAA bit, the sort of information, advice and assistance.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Lisa.
And just one more from me. You mentioned, Lisa, the special guardianship, which you've had a lot of work done and success on. This, together with many other things that are happening, that will be continued from year on into this year and the year after. That's always been there, isn't it? Special guardianship.
Yeah, it's always been there. I think perhaps our offer hasn't been as good as it could be in the past. So now, if a family member takes on a grandchild, a niece, nephew, then if they want to take up special guardianship, we still continue to offer support to a certain level. So they have some financial support if the assessment is there. And then obviously we've got a special guardianship officer now, which we hadn't had previously. That was a new role that was created following the Eliminate Profit grant payment. And then obviously they keep in contact with those families to make sure that they've got a point of contact if they want support. We didn't have that previously, so the offer there for special guardianship is much better.
And that will continue.
Yeah. So that's a permanent role. So we're looking at the minute now around the structure of children's services, and there's a consultation at the moment as to where that part of the team will sit, whether it be children looked after, fostering team, and that piece of
Yeah.
work's going on as we speak.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions on page 48? Not. We go on to page 49. Any questions there?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, Councillor Woodgen.
Again, it's clarification, really, Lisa, on the box total number of adult protection inquiries completed within the timescale. Sorry, I have reread it and I understand it now. Ignore that question, Lisa. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Right. No other questions on there? No? Page 50. Page 51. Page 52. Page 53. Just a request from me, and members know I've been pointing this out for many years. If we refer in anywhere in the report to the local authority, it's Merthyr Tydfil and not just Merthyr. Okay.
Apologies, I just spotted that and I did raise it in the safeguarding board because that is information from them.
Yes, okay, thanks. Page 54, I think you're on. I'm not going to sign page, yeah. Page 54, page 55, page 56, page 57, 58, page 59, page 60. I think we come back to those comments because there's some very interesting up-to-date information on the use of CCTV, which is helping both the police service and us considerably. Page 61, page 62, page 63, page 64, page 65, 66, 67, page 68. I'll ask this question now, and I know we've dealt with it in another scrutiny committee, but you see figures there which refers to the data for the percentage of municipal waste reused, recycled or composted. Data collected 23-24. That was 64.28% of municipal waste collected and was reused, recycled or composted. And it says, and I quote, the most recent data shows that in 24-25, this percentage has increased to 66.21. And as I understand it, every local authority in Wales has to reach the 70% figure by the 31st of March next year. And I think we're going to have an updated report in January.
And the Thriving School.
And in the Thriving School Committee, which I happen to be on, and Councillor Smith. So I don't know whether there's anybody online there. My understanding is that this figure, this percentage figure, again, can sometimes show some volatility. So the figure there, and I don't know when that date was given, was it the 31st of March, or was it a few weeks before, or was halfway through the term? But I can see Judith on the line. Perhaps you can answer the question, Judith, on behalf of us all there. That figure can be subject to change for various reasons during the year.
So that figure gets verified by NRW and Welsh Government before they publish the final figure then, which is usually by the end of November each following year. So we're currently waiting for the 24-25 figure to be verified. But that figure in the report is what we consider to be our recycling figure for the year.
Right. And hopefully we are doing everything. We're on the way to hopefully reaching the 70% figure by 1st of April next year.
We're unlikely to reach it by the 1st of April next year. As you'll be aware from the report we took to Thriving Scrutiny on the 4th of November, we have developed a new waste strategy, which is being presented to full council next week. And
Right.
the interventions within that is what we hope will get us to 70% in the coming years. But certainly, no, we don't expect to reach it by next April.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Richards?
Thanks, Chair. It was just a follow-up, Judith, from what Clive asked, really. What is the current figure now, the target figure?
So the Welsh Government target is currently 70%.
Oh, it is 70 already?
Yeah, as of last year, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. So that I thought for some reason it was a new target by next March then, but it is already the target now then, is it?
It is, yeah, as of 1st of April this year, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Right, thank you both. Any other questions on that page? No? Right. It's page 70, page 71, 72, 73, 74, right. Any questions on that page? If not, I've got one for clarification, really. If you look at page 74, and it's the very last paragraph, it says, looking forward to 25-26, we will continue to explore opportunities around extended producer responsibility projects, for example, plastic film recycling, absorbent hygiene products, etc. And this is the sentence, if it's possible to clarify it, and I quote, in order to advance these options, the service would require new infrastructure. Judith, could you elaborate exactly as to what that means? The service would require new infrastructure.
Yeah, so because they are materials that we don't currently recycle from the curbside, we will require new vehicles. We'll also require potentially a new baler and sorting machine down at the waste transfer station, and new quarantine bays for those materials to be stored in.
Right, so we'd have to budget for that if we were going down that route.
That's right, yeah.
Starting next year, perhaps. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions? No? Page 75, 76, 77. On 77, well, middle of the page, it says there, we have strengthened how we manage our estate and monitor compliance. A procurement exercise has been undertaken recently to purchase a new cloud-based asset management system, which will allow us to manage our assets more effectively, efficiently, and economically. And that sounds a real plan to me. As a matter of interest, have we purchased that cloud-based asset management system? Is there anybody on there that can answer that for me?
If I can just take that question,
Yeah.
Chair. Yes, we have purchased that system. As I relayed back to the previous scrutiny committee and to full council last week, that'll provide us with an opportunity to record all our assets on the cloud-based system and monitor our outstanding backlog of maintenance repairs required and our running costs for those assets as well.
Great. Okay, thanks very much. Page 78. And it refers in there, last dot, there's 2 dots in there, and it reads, the last dot, it's to increase the capacity within the maintenance service in order to deal with the maintenance backlog. And I presume Craig can answer this. If that's been raised previously, is that being looked at? Because clearly there's a capacity issue there which cropped up when we were talking about the backlog of 43 million.
Yeah, certainly we're looking at that. We're constructing a business case as we speak with regards to the capacity requirements going forward. And when that is in a state, we will bring that forward into full council for consideration.
Right, okay, thank you. Page 79, page 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. On page 89, right at the bottom there, it says the commercial team has provided support to schools with a view to securing savings through their purchasing. The service self-evaluation demonstrated that during the year, circa £300,000 has been saved. I presume that there is more savings that could be made in the pipeline there from, this was last year up to the 31st of March. Am I right in saying that the commercial team, they providing this support because being a governor in 2 schools, we're always looking for savings, and that's going to continue now to this year and so on, that the commercial team are supporting with everything they do with a view to, securing savings, hopefully, in all our schools.
Yeah, that service is available still within the local authority. Obviously, with the procurement team as well, we look at effective procurement for all our services, and that will include schools.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Craig. Nothing else on that page. Page 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Now we come to a lot of percentages, facts and figures. 96, 97. So 97, if you look at the top of the page, now I might have misread this, but I looked at this a few times, and it's on employment. So if you follow the figures across, and that's the top 2 figures that are people who are economically active, and under that, males who are economically active. And it says Merthyr Tydfil, those who are economically active, is 73.2%. The Wales average is 76.1%. Males who are economically active, 76.8. Wales average, 79.5. But go set with the side of it above the Wales average, plus 2.9%. Have I misread that, or should it be the other way around?
We'll double check it, Chair, but I think it looked like a typo to me in terms of it should be below. But let us clarify that.
For me, I looked at it. It should be the other way around. So if it's incorrect, and I'm right, that needs to be clarified. Okay, you look at it, Ellis.
Yeah, we'll check it. Get it sorted tomorrow and come back out to you.
Okay, thank you. Page 97, or it's on 97, sorry, 98, 99, 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, and now we go on to case studies. That's 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 24, 25, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140, 141, 142, 143, 144, 45, 46, 147, 48, 149, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154. Right. No other questions on the report. Has anybody got any comments? Just there's two things that struck me straight away reading this was the good work that's going on in our schools to increase the attendances. Now, every local authority in the UK is struggling with this, particularly because of the pandemic. But I think we are doing as well as can be expected, and perhaps a bit more in the county borough of Merthyr Tydfil. I know a lot of work is being done within the schools and with the particular assistance from our education department. And the other figure that struck me is that for this last year, the number of tourists that are coming into Merthyr Tydfil, staying here, coming to the attractions, for example, has gone up to 837,000, and we've got plenty of attractions. Some of those, number of them are historical buildings, etc. And we're doing well on that particular point. And those are the ones particularly that struck me. I have another comment to make, but I'll make it on one of the case studies at the end there. Councillor Richards first, and then Councillor Smith.
No, I'd just like to echo, really, it's a very, very comprehensive report. What I did, and compliment those who've had to put it all together, would anyone know if this follows a template that has to be followed? Because in some ways it could be slightly better user-friendly. Or reader-friendly, I should say, not user-friendly, but reader-friendly. I don't know if anyone's got the answer, but that was my only... But still, everything is there, but sometimes, whether it's down to fonts used or the size of print, I was wondering whether it has to follow any sort of... It has to follow a template nationally.
Thank you, Councillor Richards. Sarah?
Yeah, there's no particular template, Councillor Richards. We obviously have to cover the performance requirements within the annual report, but we'll take a look at that. And if you've got any particular sort of areas that you'd like to see improved, then please sort of send them through to me, and we'll ask the team to look at that going forward. We're also, constantly looking at what others are doing in terms of sort of accessibility and things like that. But yeah, any comments that you've got in terms of making improvements, then we'll certainly take them on board for the future.
Thank you, Sarah. That's appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Smith?
Thank you, Chair. 2 points. One point is, can we have the percentages down when the actual figures of people involved? Because the first couple of meetings we've been going backwards on what percentage and how many people have been engaged. Now, 2 people engaged at 50%, so can we have something sorted out?
Sarah, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, we can look at adding where we've got the number of individuals engaged as a percentage rather than just the percentage figure. We can look at that and add some of them into the infographic pages, if that helps members.
Okay.
Great, thank you much. And the other comment I got, same as Gareth, this report something is too big. Can we split it up in 2 meetings? Because time you read this, you forgot the first page said. No, time you take it all in, it is a lot, isn't it?
Well, perhaps we can discuss that in a pre-meet ourselves and come to a conclusion on it. Councillor Richards?
Well, it's a lead on from Bill to some extent, but it's a compliment to you, Chair, really, because I was wondering before we started the meeting how we were going to deal with this report. And in all fairness, I've got to compliment you on the way you've dealt with it and taken us through it page by page has been very, very helpful. So thank you, Chair, for that.
Thank you, Councillor Richards. I felt that was the only way to deal with this report. And it is very comprehensive. But we started, I think it was nearly about 5 minutes late. And here we are near the end of it. So we've gone through it in less than an hour, 50 odd minutes. So it is comprehensive. It's a large report. There's a lot of reading in there, but there's some very interesting facts and figures throughout the report that shows where we are at the end of one particular year. Any other comments? I've got one, and I wouldn't go through this meeting without referring to it. And it's one of the case studies, and it's on page 141, and it's headed "Supporting People Through Procured Training." And this refers to it, and it's a male referring because it says his in there. And it starts off, HD is 27 years of age, who came to the Compass Community Hub in hopes to turn his life around, find a job he would enjoy, and to live a comfortable life. When H first came to the Compass Community Hub, he had no mobile phone and relied on borrowing phones to make calls. The only way we could make contact with him was by calling his mother and leaving a message. HM had no transport, so had to get a taxi to and from the Compass Hub. And upon enrolment, he disclosed that he had financial struggles which had led to him committing petty crimes. If you read the rest of that, the staff there and others Compass contacted have changed this individual's life completely around. And as a result of all the support and help we had from them and one or two other organizations, he eventually, it ends this, the last part of HM only had his GCSEs when he enrolled with us. He has now achieved 2 vocational qualifications to secure employment in the construction industry and is now employed full-time. He told us, I've been receiving funding and also brilliant care in my journey through my qualifications. I have nothing but kind words to say about the staff, and there were no expectations of me. Jess in particular, who has been nothing but a godsend through my time here. All in all, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone involved. Here we have an organisation where they are doing great work and they've changed and turned around the life of a 27-year-old male in this community. And it just proves to me that there is really excellent work going on with all sorts of organisations in the County Borough of Merthyr Tydfil. And I just wanted to highlight that because reading that, it really hit me how somebody can be helped and put their life back on track. If there's no other comments, if there's not, it's the report. I go back to the report and I can find it. We've been through the report, and it goes on. The purpose of the report, members are to provide an overview of the corporate self-assessment, which sets out our conclusions as to the extent to which we met our performance requirements for 24-25. Members will offer critical friend challenge to the report and information provided, and where appropriate, will offer recommendations. Well, we've already looked at one aspect as to whether the format of this report can be made differently, and I think that's going to be looked at. But I think we have, it's fair to say, scrutinised a very long and interesting report. Can I thank all the officers for their input, all those who had to contribute to this report, from Sarah down and others. So we've finished that. For those officers, can I thank you for your attendance? And you don't have to stay with us now.
Thank
We
you,
go on to okay, all the best. Item 6, work programme. You've got the forward work programme, which is on page 155 to 170. That's bang up to date I think, Neil, there's nothing else to add to it, or you want to say anything?
Not at this point. The only point just to raise is that the next scrutiny meeting isn't until the 20th of January in the new year, which I just noticed on the forward programme says 2025, not 2026, so I'll get that updated. Yeah. But we've only got one item which says budget proposal.
Yeah.
When we want to consider anything else or pick that up outside of the meeting.
Yeah.
To yourself, Chair.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And on that particular point, when you look right at the back of this, any additional items, there were 3 there, but we dealt with 2 of them already. And I think the other one was the multi, you got it there, the
multi-location meeting. I think that's in for April.
That's April, is it?
Yeah.
So currently there's no additional items there that we can look to add on to the future agendas. So just a request from me, if you can put your thinking caps on, because we cover a huge area in this portfolio. If there's anything that you think we should be looking at, please let Neil and myself know, and we'll raise it in one of the pre-meetings. Okay? No questions on that? No. Item 7, scrutiny referrals. To consider referrals put forward inclusion in the scrutiny forward plan, where we've included all the ones that we've been referred to us. We have currently nothing else at the matter. Item 8, feedback on scrutiny activities. To receive relevant feedback from workshop, task and finish groups, and other scrutiny activities. I haven't got any particular feedback. You've got nothing else that we need?
No, Chair.
Okay. Item 9, any other business deemed urgent by the Chair? I have none. Can I thank you all for your attendance at this scrutiny committee, and I wish you all a very happy Christmas and New Year. Thank you all for your attendance.
Thank you,
Bye.
Chair.
Bye.
So, bye all. Have a good evening,
Bye.
Gary.
Bye.
Thank you.